Oh man, when I saw our local 2-week weather forecast for late September, I thought that would be a great time to get the bicycle on the road for a little bit of a journey. My plan was to leave St. Thomas and head down the coast of Lake Erie in Ontario for a couple days and just make sure I was feeling okay and feeling up to it, and if so, I would cross the Peace Bridge at Fort Erie in Buffalo and head into the U.S. and continue along the shore of Lake Erie, all the way through Erie and Cleveland to Sandusky, where I would take the ferry over to Pelee Island and then take the other ferry from P.E. Island over to Canada and back home along the coast of Lake Erie. So almost a complete circle tour of the beautiful lake, but that was not to be. When I got to Sandusky, I realized through my own fault that the Sandusky ferry had stopped running for the season about 2 days before I got there. The one from Pelee Island to Canada would continue to run for another few weeks, however. So at that point, I thought, well, I might as well just continue on, and I did. And, well, I'll tell you what happened. Stay tuned. But first, the rig. This is a vintage, very vintage, 1980s Canadian-made Norco, all chromoly steel. It's built like a tank. Not a lot of gadgets on it to break down on the road when you're 20 kilometers away from the nearest town or service. Fully loaded, it was coming in over 100 pounds. So touring is different than hopping on your 17-pound carbon fiber bicycle and going for a speedy ride. This is touring. The bike goes downhill. Absolutely fantastic. Going up, you're going to feel the weight, but very, very doable. So I have everything I need for at least 2 weeks on the road on the bike. I'll let you pause and read all the content list here if you're interested in knowing what that all is. So anyway, I hopped on it and took off out of the driveway from our home here in St. Thomas, Ontario. What a gorgeous and perfect day to start. Winds were in my face somewhat, but they were extremely light, so not an issue whatsoever. I had a nice mixture of paved, quiet roads and hard-packed dirt rail trail. Perfect. There's a billion crickets out there. And it's such a great sound for falling asleep to in the tent. I love it. But a new record just a few minutes ago. At the same time, there was a flock of geese, in addition to the crickets, coyotes, a screaming fox, and a very nearby owl. All at the same time. I'm here in Selkirk Provincial Park. I think I may be the only one here. Well, after another really nice day of cycling on the road, I arrived at Long Beach Conservation Area on Lake Erie, of course. Had the beach all to myself there. Got a swim in the lake and then settled in for the night. Well, after a good night, only about a block away from my campsite, I discovered the Gord Henry Conservation Trail. And it was very nice. I hopped on that and went all the way to Port Colborne, where it merged with the Friendship Trail, which went all the way to Fort Erie and would take me to the Peace Bridge. This was going to be an exciting day for me, crossing over the bridge on the bicycle and going through customs, and that went all very smoothly, I'm happy to say. And it took me right into Buffalo. Now, there was some construction on the bikeway heading south out of Buffalo, and they routed you through the core of Buffalo because there was a lot of roads with bike lanes on those roads. Now there was a lot of twists and turns. I got lost. I asked someone for directions. Don't ask anyone for directions who isn't a cyclist, because I followed the directions and I ended up on the freeway, the Skyway freeway. So I knew that wasn't right, so I hung my head low and went backwards back down the freeway ramp. I got on my phone and I quickly got back on track and found the proper detour and started heading south out of Buffalo. It was getting late. The provincial park I was going to camp at turned out to be only a beach and wedding venue, so I grabbed a motel room for the night. So these next couple of few days would be among the most memorable of the journey. It didn't take long after cycling out of Buffalo to get right into winery country, which is absolutely gorgeous. And there were many bikeways and dedicated bicycle routes that were very close to the Lake Erie shoreline, all the way right through Cleveland and beyond. Quite spectacular, really. And I had wonderful camping stays in both Lake Erie and Geneva State Parks. There we are in the beautiful state park, Lake Erie in New York. And look at here, joined by my new friend, Crazy Casey on a bike. We're going to have a good time here. And it's wonderful meeting this young guy. He's about, what are you, like 36, 38 years
20,
old?
I think. I feel 20. I'm really 72. I love it.
All
Meeting
right.
up people like Dennis over here. And now we're sharing the campsite.
They say the time flies by when you are having fun. True enough, I'm sure, but feels like this has just begun. Give me 50 more years like these, I think I will survive. And oh, baby, tonight I'm 25.
So the weather is still great, the legs are still good. I'm getting very close to hopping on the 27 kilometer or 17 mile long Cleveland Lakefront Bikeway. That's going to be a lot of fun. Takes you right through the waterfront and all the attractions there. And oh, hey, look, a rainbow. That's got to be good, right?
We've only just begun, born to be wild, born to run. Wild love, rock and roll, rolling on empty, suspicious minds. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. With a little help from my friends, we get by with a little help from our friends.
So I continued on through and past Cleveland, through some really sweet little small towns, right off into Sandusky an area, did some sightseeing around there, had a really great camping night at Crystal Rock Campground just south of Sandusky. And then I dipped down a little south so I could hop on the North Coast Inland Rail Trail, which would be a long and well-paved, smooth shot all the way into Toledo, Ohio.
Slow down, striding over to slow down, raging fire.
So I had a fun and exhilarating ride into Toledo and through Toledo. Had a good night staying there as well. After talking with my wife Becky, we decided that she would come across the border in the car, meet me south of Detroit for lunch, and then take me and my bicycle across the bridge back over into Canada, where I could continue my ride home. You're not allowed to ride your bicycle over the bridge in Detroit or through the tunnel, so that was going to be the easiest option.
I don't have good moves, so I play this guitar. I don't know how to rap, so I'll just sing this song.
Here we are back in Canada. Beautiful blue sky Sunday morning. Oh, it's my last day on the road. Got to spend the night over here in the countryside, hanging out with my boy Kyle. Wave, Kyle.
And I'm not so young anymore, so I think about God and I wonder how long. But I've got a tiger in my tank, through life seven just before my sight.
So for those who know a little bit about me, I'm going to tell you, I have no idea either why I feel this good. I have no idea why I'm still able to do some of these things, but, perhaps it's because I do some of these things that I still feel as good as I do. So there you go. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me on this little video journey of the trip anyway. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks again.